10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, lovely people. Hope you're well. Welcome back to another Prem panel show. As always, when we get behind the mic, make sure that you subscribe, comment, and like. And just don't do a Spursy. Make sure you start and finish the stream with us as well. Delighted to be joined by Guna Lee, Carefree Lewis, and we've got a couple more guests joining shortly. Do you know what? I was going to start with Trossard. And while I didn't watch the game, I just came in and I saw the score and I saw how the game panned out. At halftime, a couple of WhatsApp groups are going a bit mad. Lee, I've got to start with you. You're still smiling. If results had gone different tonight, you'd be smiling even more. Talk to me. How are you feeling about Spursy not giving you a little favour tonight?
Listen, do you know what? It's a weird one because whether Spurs lose or Spurs won, I'll still won. Ultimately, so yeah, but I mean, look, for the actual title, it would have been nice for them to kind of drop the points, and obviously for us to kind of had a solidified 8-point lead. But yeah, for me, look, we can talk about results, we can talk about all the other things, but I think the result in itself and the performance of Man City shows that they are very, very open and they are there to get got at. And I've said February the 15th we play them. They are holding some serious smoke, man, because they are just not good enough. I've said it. I've said it to Bish. I've said it to Daps. I've said it to everybody. We just need to keep winning and doing what we're doing, and I'm very confident. Listen, every week goes past, I feel more and more confident, man. And obviously, going back to your original thing, you were asking me about today. Look, Spurs are Spurs, man. They are not good enough. They're just not a good enough team. I mean, people might say I'm taking a dig. It's at Liverpool right now, this current, you're just not good enough. You know, I can't rely on you.
How am I taking side shots already, bro?
Listen, I had to watch a 15-minute monologue of you, Drifty, and Matt talking about something on Monday, bro. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. I had to sit there and watch that hurtful stuff that Drifty was saying. I had to, you know what? I messaged my guy Drifty the other day. I'm like, yo, bro, you ain't been in the show for a minute. I hope you're good. He came back and said that. I was like, yo, he cut me deep. But anyway, man, listen, shout out to you, man.
We will speak about it, actually. We will speak about it. Lewis, Spursy again, innit? Right. It is
Thank
what
the
it
Lord.
is with them.
So give me a heart attack at halftime. Fucking Emerson Royale. This is the game you want to turn up in.
Brother, that's my point. So obviously Lee sees it differently. He as he says, he's in a win-win situation. If Spurs lose, it's all fun and games. If Spurs win, obviously the gap between them and City is heightened. For us two, though, we needed a Spurs loss tonight. Not just because we don't want to see Arsenal run away with the league, but because of where we are in the league right now. How big, in your opinion, is that result for Liverpool and Chelsea at this stage of the season?
Well, we're still doing top four and all that. I gave up on that time ago, bro.
No, bro, I've got to create content, bro. Everyone here knows my feelings, but
Where are you the whole time? We're 10th.
Yeah,
level on points of Liverpool
9th and 10th, respectively.
Wow.
Yeah, so like top four and all that, I weren't even considering it.
How many points you man got? You man got 20. You know what, bro? I'll be honest with you. All right, cool. Hear this now. You played 19 games, innit? So if you win your game in hand, bro, it's not out of the realms of possibility, though. I'll be honest with you.
We've got 2 games in hand on Spurs at the moment.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you can go above Spurs. And do you know, both of you ain't
Liverpool kids. They've got the game in hand. We don't.
But do you play Newcastle at home, right?
To Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea play Newcastle at home, right?
No, last game of the season we got Newcastle at home.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to play them though, innit? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
and you still got to play Liverpool on Saturday, so you can beat them. Hold me, I don't know, whatever.
Maybe.
You've got to play Brighton. You've got to play a lot of these teams, man. So it's in your
Yeah, but
hand.
we got to beat them as well. That's the big difference.
That's a big
Like to
one.
me, it's 10 points off, which is still a little bit realistic. I just don't really have faith in the side to be able to do that. Maybe if we bring in a midfielder, I might have a bit more confidence, but I've forgotten about top four personally. I weren't even thinking about that. It was just about City trying to keep on track with Arsenal. And 5 points away, they could still turn it around. They just have to beat Arsenal twice, and they've done that. So it's still a bit realistic on that front. But from Chelsea, well, we're 10 points off fourth. I think we've dropped way too many points to realistically get back. We have to go on a massive winning run. And to beat all these sorts of sides, also in the last 6 games of the season, we go away to the Emirates. Our last away game is at the Etihad, and our last home game is Newcastle at home. It's not happening. It's just not happening. Like maybe for you guys, it might be fine. It might be something you can look at because you've got a game in hand on Spurs. You've got 2 games in hand on Newcastle. We don't. I don't see that from Chelsea still.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Right, we'll come back to the title race and top 4 race. But we've got to start with the big news of the day. Arsenal have signed a player after Chelsea decided basically they didn't want this one. Let's just call it what it is. You went in for Mudryk. He went in for Mudryk hard. He was twerking for you guys. He was posting up non-cryptic messages on social media. However, ended up going to Chelsea. Arsenal still needed an attacker. And instead of resting on their laurels, you've gone out and you bought Leandro Trossard. £27 million. Lee, what's your thoughts?
You know Chelsea are down bad when they got to do stuff like that, though, innit, man? You got man that are putting up these weird pictures.
They've been doing this for decades, bro.
I got my brother Callum watching tennis. You know, I'm like, yo, Liverpool, but anyway, listen, yeah. You know what? I'm honest. Earlier on today, so the news broke at I think 9:27, and when it broke, I was there and I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I'm trying to be honest with myself because we came from Mudryk down to Trossard, and I'm like, all right. I need to get over that part. Because we've missed out on a player that Arteta obviously clearly wanted and invested a lot of his time and efforts in. Apparently was speaking to him, and this is the first big signing that he was going for in terms of the forward line. Obviously we bought Odegaard in and we bought Jesus, but this was the first real big play that he was going for other than players that he already knew. So that was the first thing, and I was like, it kind of flatters to deceive a little bit in terms of the name. But when I look at it, my first thing I was thinking is we've got this process where we aren't buying anyone over the age of 25. Everyone other than Partey was below the age of 25 years old or 25 or younger. So I thought, you know what? It makes sense because he's got a little bit of maturity about him. He's just got into his international team. He's got 7 goals this season and I think 2 assists or 3 assists, one of the 2. He can play in all 3 positions up front, false number 9, left, right. He scored a hat-trick, all left footers against Liverpool earlier on in the season to get 3-3. So look, he scored some really, really big goals as well. I think he scored against Man United. I think he scored against Chelsea. So there are some real good characteristics about this guy. But I think the most important thing is he's not coming in to be a starter. And I think that is what we need. We need someone who we can bring in, who's got that quality, he's got those silky skills, but isn't guaranteeing himself to be the star. He knows he's not starting above Martinelli. He knows he's not starting against Saka, above Saka, and he's not starting against Nketiah after the performance he put in the other day against Tottenham. So for me, look, it's a nice rotation to have that piece to have off the bench. Look, you can talk about names all you like, but listen, I said this earlier on today. Big up Lee Judges, big up Robbie. They said the same thing. There are thousands of players that are better than Martinelli. There are thousands of players that are better than Nketiah. There's thousands of players that are better than Gabriel Magalhaes, even our keeper Ramsdale. But would I swap any of these players? No. And I'm going to add another one to that now with Trossard, because I think they know what to do. They know how to play the system, but obviously including Trossard will. And yeah, look, man, I'm very happy with the team. I'm very proud of how this is going. And listen, man, if we win the league and we've only spent £20 million on Trossard, the rest of our forward line, obviously currently on Sunday, cost £4 million. 2 youth players, and obviously Martinelli came from the Brazilian second tier, cost £4 million. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to complain about anything at this moment of time. We went to Brighton before. We spent £15 million on a player. Everybody on this panel, everybody kept questioning Arteta. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Are you
Why is
talking
he
about Ben White?
Ben White? Everybody
No.
kept
Stop. I've never
No.
questioned.
It was a figure. It was a figure. People said £50 million.
Not me.
Okay.
Not me, bro. I've been a fan of Ben White. I wanted him at Liverpool.
Well, a lot of people, a lot of people were saying,
Yeah.
a lot of people questioned it. And now I've said it, I put it on Twitter. I'm not going to be the one to question my manager because he's putting up trump cards right now. So
fair dues. Lee, I gotta come back to you on what you were saying there, because one of the things that's been labelled at Chelsea when they're sort of under Conte the last time they won the league was they're playing three at the back, their centre backs are protected, this, that, and the other. And then one of the things that's been labelled at Liverpool are things like, what was Henderson doing in that league winning team? And what was Genie doing? But our collective fans, Chelsea fans, loved what Conte did. Liverpool fans loved what Genie brought to the team and what Hendo brought to the team. You categorically just said you wouldn't swap certain players despite name and stuff. Do you now have a newfound respect for certain teams who have won it in the past with less sort of big names and less established household names? Or is it still kind of, you're not sure about it?
I think out of everyone you've mentioned, I would probably say Henderson, only because no matter how many, there's been moments of quality. Like I remember some of the kind of fantastic through balls that he played against certain teams, and they're real moments of quality. But I still look at him and think, how? I just don't expect him to do that. So yeah, maybe I have a new appreciation of that, but I still wouldn't think we've got anyone in our team. I don't think we've got anyone like a Jordan Henderson in our team. I think everybody, and that's no disrespect because he's a fantastic captain and he's a great player, but he's just not those kind of upper echelon levels, in my opinion, and that's not a dig at him. I can think of Victor Moses as another one, so it's not a Liverpool thing. Victor Moses is another player who I would think, bro, like if I look at you, you don't look like you're part of a title-winning team. Your skill doesn't show that. Your skill doesn't show that you are that important player, but he was an important cog to that team. So yeah, look, I would probably say, but I think, you know what, I'll be honest, I'm more impressed and I'm more proud of the team because, you know, everyone had us outside the top four. You think about what happened with the Amazon documentary. Everybody, do you remember everyone was doing, we're gonna do Netflix and chill. Everybody was doing, we're gonna do the watch. People were saying they're gonna do Amazon watch-alongs. That was what people were saying. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Of course I remember. I was the one saying it, bro. Of course I remember.
Everyone was saying, yeah, and then when the news came out that Liverpool, when the news came out about Liverpool in the documentary, how we were playing the music to get used to this and used to that. That came out, and then people were talking about the fact that we've spent this money and we've not got enough, and everyone kept saying we beat Crystal Palace, that was the first thing. Then we beat Leicester, that was the second. How are we going to react from being a goal down? How are we going to react after losing the game against Man United? How are we going to? Then the next thing was, after December, it's going to crumble. Then the Jesus thing was going to come. Then after that, Nketiah, number 14 shirt, drifty, £100,000 per week. How Callum, £100,000. How many more things have we gone through as a club? We finished 8th twice. I don't know how much more as a club we have been through that has maybe been embarrassing or it's been put against us or we've had to defeat to get to the position where now you've also got Chelsea that have spent almost £500 million, even more now because I think they've got this new guy from PSV, even more money. They spent £500 million. Yeah, they've spent all that money. You've got Man City that have got a guy who scored 22 goals now, including the goal today, 22 goals. Yeah, and we are still ahead of them by 5 points with a game in hand, and we still got to pay them twice. I don't know how many more stipulations that we need to put into it to show how well we have performed over these 18 games. I really don't know. So listen, man, not only is it just the players, but I do give I'm just so proud and happy of how we have performed over these games because we've been through so much, man.
I'm not gonna lie, Lee, as much as I bet. Well, you know.
Offline, we know.
Offline, I gave you your credit. Online, I think I've been one of your biggest, as a club, I've been one of your biggest advocates. It hurts me, but I have to be honest about it. Lewis, I've got to come to you now. Trossard obviously scored against you. He did up a madness against us. You guys got Mudryk. When you guys bought him and you seen that Arsenal bought Trossard, what do you think from the outside looking in? Because as Lee said, he's not going to be an automatic starter. I don't even think he pushes the starters which could sometimes be a problem as well. Do you think Trossard is enough for Arsenal to give them that little push from now until the end of the season to win the league?
Win the league, I'm not so sure because I'm still waiting on Man City and everything. But in terms of them running out till the end of the season, I do think it's good depth for them. And that's all that they've really needed. They just need to solidify their bench a little bit more. And Trossard does do that. He's a very good option for numerous areas of the pitch. So it's a smart signing by Arteta. Chelsea didn't really go for him because we're looking for younger options, players under the age of 25. So Trossard didn't really fit what we're looking for. But from an Arsenal perspective, they're not looking for someone to come in and immediately start games. They're looking for somebody that they could bring off the bench, put in a certain role, and he can have an impact for 20, 30 minutes. Or do something in the Europa League and the other cup competitions. It's a very good move for Trossard because he's top of the table. He's competing for trophies. It's a good move for Arsenal because it solidifies their squad. Everyone wins. It's a smart move. I completely understand it.
I hear you. I mean, Lee, come back to you. Do you think Trossard's enough between now and the end of the season? You still got Europa, which is coming back soon as well. I think everyone's kind of forgotten about Europa, but Europa's going to be back soon. We still don't know how Arteta is going to approach that, whether he's going to kind of still play sort of like, I won't say your B team, but rest some of your big hitters and maybe try and keep them fresh with the Premier League. Do you think Trossard's enough, or do you want more? And if so, what do you want?
Do you know what? I think there's a two-part answer to this. And I think the first part is, yes, ideally I would want more. I think, yeah, I would like a midfielder and I'd like another attacker in a forward, let's say, who can maybe stretch maybe across two positions. But I think we have to remember we have ESR back now. He actually came back 2 games ago. He came on against Spurs as well. We also have to remember that we've got Jesus coming back apparently around the February the 25th. So that's another player that people keep forgetting. It's not that we don't have, we have Nketiah, we have another player that's coming back, and you know what he brings to the team. I think he raises Martinelli's level as well. So I think added on to that, so we start to think about Trossard, Jesus, ESR, and Fabio Vieira start to be our squad bench already. Then Reece Nelson hopefully comes back. We've got El Nene, who's serviceable. Like, people again are going to laugh about him, but he's serviceable for a game or two. He comes in and he knows his role. Rob Holding, again, not good enough, but we know we're going to play him in the crap games. We play him in the Europa League in the home games mostly. So yeah, look, like for me, I kind of look at it and I say, yeah, I would ideally want more, but I don't think that we are gone. We are done with if we don't get any more. So it gives us time. We've got Trossard in. That was just such a simple and smart move, and it gives us time to go and look and see if we can spend another 60, 70 million pounds to see if we can get another forward or another midfielder. Because I think that makes sense. We've got it's the 19th of January. We've got 2 weeks left, so let's see how it plays out, man. Obviously, I know because Caicedo has been rejected from the bid from Chelsea today, 55 million. So, listen, that would be a great player for me to get in, or for us to get in. But there's been links for us getting Declan Rice. Do I believe it? Not really, but yeah, look. Nah. I know with Arsenal what they do is when we don't get a player, the PR comes out the next day. You know, the PR normally comes out the next day.
I actually think maybe I'm drinking a Kool-Aid. I actually think you are in for him, and I think it represents smart business. If you are, he's someone that splits opinion. Everyone here knows that I'm a big fan of Declan.
Yeah, and I'm not.
You're not in the middle. So perfect.
You know, in the middle. When I saw him play against Arsenal. I've seen him play against Arsenal a couple. He never turns up. He never turns up, man. And for me, I don't care about what you do against other teams. I want to see what you're doing against my team. If you can sit into my team, and he never turns up, man. He's not. For me, he's a good player. I'm not spending 70 million on him, bro. I think there's so many other players that can do what he does. If he was not English, he would be 25, 30 million max.
No, I hear that. All right, so for me, I look at it slightly different because I look at him as someone who could be a natural Henderson replacement. I'm not saying he'd start and he'd be my first choice, but he's got captain material. Hands down, he's got better technical ability than Henderson. He's more athletic than this version of Henderson. And I do think he's in a team that doesn't help him. Whereas if you put him around better players, I think you'll get the best out of him. So me personally, he's not my first choice, but if we, again, I don't think we'll get Bellingham now, but let's say, for example, we managed to get, I don't know, Kone, Mateus Nunes and Declan Rice. I'll be honest, I'd be very happy with that.
I know we're not talking about Liverpool right now, but are you saying that because you're not actually that happy with your midfield now, or do you think even if you had your prime A first 11 all pumping and playing well, you would still put him in your team?
Yeah, because we don't have 3 midfielders capable of keeping him out the team.
No, but I'm saying if they were in there like bang on form, like those are the guys you wanted.
I'd have him. I still have him.
Obviously, his main competitor would be Fabinho. If Fabinho was his bad boy Liverpool, up and down, marauding, winning tackles back, getting on the edge of things on the box, he ain't getting above him. So that's why I'm asking you. I don't know.
I hear that, but we ain't seen that Fabinho in a while, bro. You ain't seen it in a while. Obviously, I can't speak too much about transfers. We all know what's going on at Liverpool. One thing that we can speak about when it comes to transfers is Chelsea Football Club, though, Lewis. Brother, you're taking this like it's the summer. I ain't seen January sales like this.
We've lost Roman Abramovich. We're going straight back to being broke. Save the bridge. All of that. That's what I was hearing. But what do I know?
Once again, another dig at me because I was saying,
was that you? That was just
I do want to say though, that is actually true. There were coffers going around to save your club because you were dead broke. I was leading it.
It's me again.
Okay.
How are you feeling about what's going on? Because again, from the outside looking in, it looks very much like a scattered approach. However, I have been speaking to a couple of Chelsea fans. Shout out to my friend Aaron. He's basically effectively said, look, we've got these players in and then we're now going to sell. So we're not going to do selling and then try and buy. We've bought what we want. Now we're going to move on the players we don't want. You signed a lot of players though. Lewis, what's going on, bro?
It's a complete rebuild. It is what I've been asking for so long. And it's so refreshing that I'm getting to see in the fresh. We are just getting all the wingers we need, potentially getting midfielders in by the end of the window or focusing on that in the summer. And then there's going to be a massive, massive outgoing in the summer. And I'm looking forward to it. Likes of Aubameyang, Jorginho, Aspi, Havertz, maybe Mount, maybe not Mount, Pulisic, Ziyech, all sorts. The next few months are just going to be about who we keep and who we sell. But Todd Boehly is literally revamping the squad from top to bottom. And we've needed that for so long. I've said this team is filled with deadwood. It's the least cohesive team in the top 10. And we've played like that. But we've made a lot of strengths into the squad too. Well, our dribbling has been atrocious this season. I looked at our numbers earlier today. Some of the winning percentage of duels that we have is genuinely laughable. You got players in the 30s, players in the 20s, and they're in our top 5 highest dribblers. It's that bad with us. So getting the likes of Mudryk in, Mudeki in as well, brilliant 1v1 dribblers, that's a key part of our squad that we've lacked. The midfield still needs to be addressed, and I've kind of said that needed to be addressed first, but we're looking at it. So I don't really mind if it's a late thing or not, because we're not making top 4 anyway. But we're sorting out our midfield. Then we could potentially be looking at a goalkeeper, some right-back depth. Next season looks really, really exciting for us. It really does. This season's still a write-off. If we'd had this sort of window in the summer, I'd be very confident about top 4. Probably not higher than that, but at least top 4, I believe we would be able to maintain. And yeah, Todd Boehly looks a lot better than what a lot of people gave him credit for. He was meant to just be some clueless American and all that. Nah, he knows what he's doing. He's built some brazy infrastructure behind the scenes. And every single signing that we're getting in, I'm confident. For the first time in ages, I feel confident in us coming into a transfer window. I'm confident that we can put money towards any player and we're not just burning it because they're just a big name. We've actually done our research on the player. And I think we're building something. I really think we're building something. So I look forward to it.
Lewis, can I just ask though, I'm just asking because you say you're really building something, but it does look from the outside looking in that you're just copying everybody else's ideas of the transfer. So, I mean, look, you think of the idea of buying Felix, right? Felix needs to have someone in front of him. He's not good to play on the left and the right. He's more of a second striker. So you brought him in How does that, just going off what you're saying, how does that relate to a clear strategy? Mudryk,
Well,
again,
we're still looking for a striker too, to be fair, but that's probably
What,
coming
this
in the summer.
window?
Maybe, like, I've heard rumors of Vlahovic on loan and stuff like that, but I think it's more
Oh.
realistic for the summer. I don't think we're going for a striker
don't
now.
you think though, like that's where I'm going with it, is don't you think, like, okay, fine, you're just buying big names, but look at every other club, literally, other than probably say Man United, every other club within the league has bought players that maybe aren't those high flyers, but can come in and do a job for that tactic and that team. But with Todd Bowley, he just seems to be doing the Harlem Globetrotters thing, where he's just getting the biggest and nicest names, no matter if they're up for sale or not, and just giving them a whole load of money. Which then leads me to my next thing. How have you like got all this money? Like, why is it that you're allowed to spend
Because
$500
Roman
million?
left us debt free.
They're debt free.
So
Roman left
how
us
much
debt
are you
free,
allowed
took
to
all the
spend?
earnings. And the one of the clauses in buying Chelsea was that he had to put 1.5 billion into the club within the first 10 years. So they're just tanking it all in immediately.
It's mad.
And also the amortization and everything, because we're getting everyone on 8-year deals.
Yeah,
In terms of the yearly profits for FFP, it looks a lot smaller than what the base fee actually looks like. Bowley's moving smart. Even when you talk about the research going into players and stuff, like, we've got no competent right wingers. We've signed Maduki. We've got no creators. We've signed Felix. We've got no explosive wingers on the left. We've got Mudryk. Koulibaly's been poor. We've lacked someone with a left foot. We've got Badiashile. Even in terms of midfield, we're looking at the likes of Caicedo. We're looking at the likes of what's his name, Quadio Kone. Like, we're looking at a string of players. So this whole thing about we're not researching, we're just looking at random players, is not true. Like, every player that we're getting is directly improving us.
No. They're improving us. They're improving you, sorry. But are they are you doing the research, or is everyone else doing the research and then you're just going in and taking them?
No, apparently we were linked with Mudryk since August. Apparently we've been talking to him since then.
I mean, you could say apparently underneath my hat I have hair, but that's not true either.
I can only go off the sources that I've read. That's it.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Bro, you can say a bunch of stuff, yeah, that you read and you hear, but when I take my hat off, bro, so yeah, I ain't too sure about that one, my guy. I don't know, bro. But yeah.
One player I want to speak to you about, Lewis, from a selfish point of view, and then Lee, I want your input as well from an outsider's point of view as well. Mason Mount, a player that's been linked to Liverpool very recently. Now, he's a player that, again, splits the Chelsea fan. He split the Chelsea fan base since he kind of became Lampard's favourite pet project. You said you want to get rid of him, potentially. A lot of other Chelsea fans have, whereas some Chelsea fans love him. If I'm not mistaken, he was one of your top assist makers last season, if not your top assist maker.
Probably.
What's the deal with Mason Mount? Because one, do you think he'd fit in at Liverpool? Two, what's the reason for you wanting to get rid of him?
Oh, yeah, I think he fits you guys perfectly. I genuinely think he goes to Liverpool, he does a lot better than what he's doing at Chelsea. But with us, there's a lot when it comes to Mason Mount, because I was backing him for a lot until this season. This season, like, the way he's been playing has been ridiculous. And you can talk about top assist maker and everything. Like, stats only help portray whatever argument you want to put. That's why you've got to have a little eye test on it as well, and there's got to be context applied. He was our top assist maker. He was our top chance creator. Majority came from corners. And when we say corners, like, he's not even great at corners. It's always Mount taking the corners, and eventually it finds somebody's head. When it comes to open play, barely makes anything from open play. He'll do it every now and then, but there's no consistency. And half the reason why our attacks are so slow is because Mason Mount will get the ball. He will just take forever to get the ball out of his feet. He won't scan any runners that are around him, and it'll take about 10 seconds to make his decision. And it will either be the wrong pass, it'll either be poor technique, an overhit or an underhit pass, or he just passes it out to the wing backs and he just kills the entire attack. It's constant poor decision making from Mount, game in and game out. And this is the stuff that stats never really shows. Yeah. There's also just the amount of times where he will just be straight up invisible and you won't even notice him for about 60 minutes in a game. You physically will forget that the guy is on the pitch. And this is what he gets criticized for on a regular basis. Even last season, when he was getting that 30 GNA season, he still had patches where he was playing like that. It was just sometimes he'd be able to mask it with a goal here or an assist here. But the performances over 90 minutes aren't good enough. Aren't good enough at all. And my thing now is you're now asking for 200 to 250k a week, Reece James's wages, when you are not playing to any of the ability. I could get him asking for a pay rise. He's on like 88k a week or something. Like, you ask for a pay rise. I get that. Anything over 120 to 150k a week is stupidness, and we shouldn't even be entertaining it. But he's pushing for it because, honestly, the fans and the media have just put him on a fat pedestal for the last 3 years. The next Frank Lampard, England's next top midfielder and all this, the face of Chelsea Football Club. No, it's been Reece James and Silva. If we want to talk about consistency, it's not been Mason Mount.
Do you see where you lose people with that? I know I mean, £250,000 is a lot of money, but you're paying Mudryk, I think, £100,000 or near enough after 31 games in the Ukrainian league. So how can you have one kind of conscious about him, but not about the other? Like, you're paying a man 6 months' wages from Atletico Madrid, when in truth he's not your player, and there's no chance of you signing him unless he really wants to come back. You're paying Aubameyang.
I don't understand the correlation.
So what I'm saying to you is you're paying someone £100,000 after 31 games. Why? What's the issue if you paying Mount, who scored he's your golden boy, he's your golden chalice, he's your poster boy. He helped you.
We've seen him for 3 years, and he's overrated.
He helped you just win the Champions League, and he's got over 100 Premier League games.
But this is the thing. It's always the same argument. Hey, he's got the winning assist in the Champions League final. Fair play. Mason Mount was unbelievable in that run. It's not like Kai Havertz, who's just living off an open goal. Mason Mount was genuinely one of our top players in the run to the final and the final itself. That was 2021. We're in 2023 now. Sorry, like that credit only lasts for so long. Mason Mount has been one of our worst performers this season, and he has been one of our most regular starters. He's got one of the highest minutes in the squad. He is not playing at a level that deserves 200k a week, 250k a week. I would argue that he hasn't played at that level since 2021. So you can't justify that for 8 years, because all that does is, if Mount doesn't improve, it puts Chelsea in a bad position for nearly any sort of negotiations with any ingoing midfielder or forward, because they'll look at Mason Mount and they'll say, I'm better than him, I should be on more than him. It's why Sterling's on 300 bags a week when we had Werner on 260, because you could easily say, I'm better than him. Mudryk's only on like 93k a week. It's not even that bad, to be honest.
Only after 31 games. Did I just hear that correct?
Compared to the rest of the other players in our squad, that's the least of
our problems. I'm going to say, we're seeing it differently, because remember, we don't really pay individual stupidly high wages. Chelsea have been doing this for a while. So 93 is kind of almost like their base rate, whereas Arsenal, Liverpool's base rate is probably about 60, 70.
Keep our wages right. We've got Havertz on 150, Kepa on 150, Ruben Loftus
on 150.
Ruben's on 150. You've got Sterling on 300 bags. You've got Koulibaly on 300 bags.
If I give you context,
if I give you Jorginho 150, you've got Kante 290. I don't care about Mudryk on 93. That's nothing to me. I don't care. Pulisic on 150.
This is what I'm saying.
Is on like 120.
This is what I'm saying to you. Yeah, look.
Hudson-Odoi 120.
That's mad. Look, and that was at 18. Look, so hear what I'm saying though. Yeah, Trossard signed today, and we put him on a £90,000 wage. And bearing in mind, this is his last big contract. This is the last one. So he's one of our more experienced, and he's on 9. Trossard today. We were signing for 90,000. We've doubled his wages. And this is his last contract, his last big one, because it's a 4-year deal or 3.5 that will take him to 32, 31 years old. He's not getting another one after this that's going to be equal or more unless he goes to another foreign country. So for me, when I'm hearing £90,000 for Mudryk, when you're saying £250,000 for Mason Mount, listen, in a London wage, London city boy, poster boy, English, winning, helping you win the Champions League, all of these things. I don't know why you got a problem. Pay the man. Pay the man.
No,
bro.
man. If Mason Mount was so proper Chelsea, he'd be signing a 1 or 2 year extension, small pay rise, anything up to 120, 150, which I think is respectable. Continue to play, show the level that you're meant to be at, that everyone's pretended that you should be at or that you're playing at, and then renegotiate again in a year or two's time for the 250k a week that you're now playing at. If he was proper Chelsea, he'd be doing that. But no, he's trying to hold the club up for 200, 250k a week. And I hope he doesn't get it unless he shows form. And if he doesn't get it and it goes down to the summer, he's going to get sold because Chelsea aren't going to risk letting him go on a free.
See, but your wording is so beautiful there. Unless he shows form, it's not the money. You don't care about him getting the money. It's about his performances, and this is what I'm trying to say.
If you play like a 250k a week player, then fair enough. But he hasn't shown any of that quality for like the last 18 months.
24. How does he get that much money at that age? He's not good enough. He's not good enough. No, but no. Hold on. Can we just put it out there as well? No one in your team is good enough to be earning £300,000 a week. So
why keep giving them stupid wages?
But this is Chelsea. So this your optics and your realm of like giving wages and paying fees is so different to everyone else. So it makes no difference. I just pay him.
It does when he's still going to be one of the highest earners.
You might as well. To me,
if it was around 120, 150, I'd say the same thing. Fuck you. You have Havertz on that wage. He's fucking shit. You might as well have him out on that.
That's your poster boy, man. That's your star boy. That's the guy that apparently is going to lead Chelsea into the new revolution of beating.
My poster boy is Reece James. And hopefully in the future, Hutchinson.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of hysteria around that guy. And when I'm hearing the amount of money you're paying for your backup keeper, that is craziness, boy.
Right, it's a first choice at the
Year's
moment.
a bad decision. So new year, no stupid decisions. Mount doesn't get anywhere over 150k a week if I'm running the club personally.
Yeah. Right, let's move on to the title race or potentially lack thereof. Lee, you're smiling. So I've got to come to you first. Do you think there is a title race? If so, who's involved? Or do you think it's you, as in Arsenal, and then the rest vying for second place?
I think it's us and Man City, of course, 100%. Look, you can never count out Man City. They're a champion team. They know how to win. They know how to grind out results. They know how to chase teams. I know there was a damning press conference from Pep Guardiola about 5-10 minutes ago where he said, this doesn't look like my team. They have no desire to run no more, stuff like that. So it's quite a lot that's of heavy stuff that's coming out. But
that's scary.
Yeah, listen, I think you said it. Man City don't look the same. They don't look the same, and they don't look like a team that are really there. Their mind's there for the Premier League, and it can all change on a flick of a switch. But my issue with Man City and why I just don't believe they're going to win the league is, yes, they're fantastic, but I don't think they're going to win 15 games in a row. They're not doing that. I can't even see them winning 10 games in a row, like convincingly. If they do, I'll be very shocked. So I just think that we're too far ahead. I think and I said it last week, if we beat Man United on Sunday, I said it, everyone said it, if we beat Man United on Sunday, I do think we're going to win the league because our next run of fixtures, we've got relatively more simpler games like your Leicester's away, your Everton's, Leicester's away, Everton, Leeds and West Ham's and stuff like that. And then near the end, we've got the run of hard games where we've got the Newcastle's away, Chelsea's at home, we've got you away. So we've got like a really, really tough set of fixtures near the end. But currently, honestly, man, like the way we're playing, the way we dismantle teams, the way that we are able to kind of navigate through games, the way that we can control games, the way that we start games, the way that we manage games throughout a game, the way that we can just pick it up when we want, it's just all working quite well. And listen, Partey and Odegaard, I call him older class. Not much more I can say about him, man, because he's honestly he's fake, man. He's unreal. But listen, Man City, they're a great team, and February the 15th is going to be fireworks because obviously we've got them at the Emirates. And listen, if we can definitely beat them, then listen, it's all in our hands, man. It's all in our hands.
Odegaard to me is the player that you guys thought Mesut Ozil was.
Exactly that. Odegaard is literally Özil with work rate. That is really and truly. There's other things as well, but you know,
I think he's got a better shot than Ozil.
Özil had a lot of language styles and style, and I think Özil was very much the guy who could also be the pre-assist as well. Like he was never always the guy that was going to be the last person on the ball to kind of pass it to score that goal. And yeah, look, like I think what we're seeing from Odegaard is, you know, you get leaders in walks of life, whether it's your boss, whether you yourself, you own your own company, whether you being a leader as a father or as a father figure to somebody else. And you get some disciplinarian parents who are like Callum, or you get you get our parents. Listen, let me not say that too much before NSPCC come knock on your door. Yeah, anyway, listen, you get nice parents like Callum, or you get our parents. Yo, let me rewind that, bro. Let me rewind that. But yeah, you get different kind of parents in life. You get different kind of disciplinarians in that. But yeah, the way he leads, anyway, the way he leads is unique because he leads by example on the pitch. He's not the shower. He's not Henderson where he's going to grab man by the scruff of the neck. He's not James Milner where he's going to slap man in their boat and say, yo, he's not a John Terry. He's not a John Terry. He's not going to be a Cahill kind of guy. But how he leads on the pitch is by goals, by assists, by constantly pressing. He's the trigger for the team to move forward. And yeah, man, honestly, I mean, I can't wax lyrical enough about the team, about how well we're playing. And listen, it's a young team. And I was thinking earlier on, we ain't going nowhere, man. This ain't going to be just one Premier League. It might not be two in a row, but we're going to win 2 or 3 in 5 years. I can see it because we're just too good. We're too young.
I hear you, Lewis. Firstly, do you think Man United, if they beat Arsenal in the title race, and if so, who would be best placed to win it out of Arsenal, Man City, and Man United?
If United win, they go up to about 6 points behind Arsenal. Yeah, I could see them in it. They won't say they are because they don't think the team's got the quality to do it. And I understand that as well. I don't think they're talking down on their own club or anything. But you could say that they're in the title race realistically. I still think it would be Man City, though, in spite of whatever happens. But shit, Arsenal are scaring me a little bit. And also City as well. I remember I was watching City when they came to the bridge. And I was watching them thinking, is this really Man City? They were pissing me off. I was expecting to be 1-0 down in 5 minutes or some shit. They couldn't create anything. Barely. And if anything, we looked like the better team at parts. Against Arsenal, like I still say we should have won. If Havertz passes to Aubameyang, we win the game 1-0. But Arsenal dominated us. Battered us from like first minute to the last. The only difference was they didn't really have that much end product either. But they were a much more dominant side. I could see the difference between the two of them. So yeah, City don't look the same. I do expect them to wake up sooner or later, and I'm also low-key hoping that they will. But if United beat Arsenal, they're definitely in it. If Arsenal beat United, though, they're 100% out because they bottled it yesterday.
Fair dues. Obviously, I know you've got to shoot in a bit, so I've got to ask you the inevitable question before you do, and then we'll go back to a different subject, Lee. The game of the weekend, bro.
The mid-off. Can't
9th
wait.
versus 10th. I never thought I'd hear myself say Liverpool versus Chelsea, 9th versus 10th. What's your thoughts going into the game, bro? Because I ain't looking forward to it.
God knows. I'm just excited to see Mudrik's debut. Other than that, I wouldn't even be traveling up for that shitter. We were talking about earlier, 22 kids learning how to walk. That's what that game's going to look like. I don't know what's going to happen. My prediction is like 3-3 with hella tap-ins and deflections and just terrible football. Just the ball's passing around from one end to the other. There's going to be zero midfield in there between both sides. Yeah, I don't know what to expect. We could easily win. We could easily lose that one.
Chelsea are winning. Chelsea are winning, I'm telling you.
if we win, it's a good confidence building result for us. We've gone to a tough away ground, get a place that we don't usually win at. Hell, we've won away from home. It'll be the first time we've done that since October. But I'm not deluding myself. I've watched this team all season, and they have managed to clutch defeat from the jaws of victory numerous times. I am not jumping to conclusions with this one. It could go either way. You lot could easily go and win this game. You could smoke us. We could bottle it. We could actually turn up and get 3 points. It might be a draw. I don't know. I have zero predictions, zero anything, because we're in the same mess. We're literally level on points. We both have no midfield together and an attack that just pisses us off and a leaky ass defense. God knows what's going to happen. God knows.
I think I don't see Chelsea. I don't see Chelsea. No, I'm saying I just don't see Chelsea losing, to be honest. I don't see Chelsea losing.
I can barely see us winning. I'm just imagining Mudryk against Trent. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to. Other than that, God knows. God knows.
I reckon Trent will be all right. But I'm kind of with both of you. I don't think we'll lose. I do think it'll be a draw. But it's going to be, I think it'll be a very exciting game for the neutrals, entertainment-wise. But for Liverpool and Chelsea fans, we're going to be ripping our hair out from the first minute to the last, I reckon.
Nunes v Havertz, man. That's going to be hilarious. Who can miss more?
Well, you could say Jorginho against Fabinho. That's even worse.
Who can run slower in 90 minutes?
It's actually fact. That's what's scary at the moment. You can actually go through.
Both our midfields are so meaty, man.
Oh, they're terrible.
Mad. And
we're going into this with Jorginho, the shell of Kovacic and Mount.
And that's why I think Liverpool will be in a bit more trouble, because I think that they're gonna trust some of their younger players who aren't. I just don't think they're there yet. I don't think Carvalho's there yet. I don't think Harvey Elliott's there yet. I mean, Fabinho he was a great player for you guys, but I just don't know where the legs have gone, and I don't know whether Klopp or I mean, let me not say Klopp, because obviously people know that he doesn't manage Liverpool anymore. So Pep, I don't know if Pep's going to be brave enough to make any decisions to put some younger players in. So yeah, I mean that's the way I'm looking at it for now. But yeah, it's a sticky one, man. I tell you what, I definitely won't be wasting my time watching that terrible game. But
Oh, 30, my dumbass is driving up to that.
Oh, he's driving up, Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, you might have a good night out afterwards, man. Listen,
yeah,
you might catch Gakpo about that. You know, you might be. I don't know, bro. You might catch Gakpo doing something crazy, bro.
Oh boy, well, Lewis, we'll let you go, brother. As always, pleasure to have you.
As always, big up my guys. Yeah, we'll see what happens after the L. I'll be back here next week. But big up my guys. And love, big up everyone. Hit the likes, all of that. Big up.
Thank you, my bro. Lee, back to Arsenal. Now on Monday, you quite rightly said me, Matt, and Drift going back and forth. You wanted to address it. Talk to me, bro.
Listen, man. You know what? You know what it is. Where I was listening. I'm like, people do anything to discredit Arsenal. It's hate. The hate is mad, bro. The hate is mad. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, hold on, man. I'm really saying that Man City have basically given the title to Arsenal, and I'm like, bro, we have literally played, at the time, I think we had played 17, 18 games. We had lost one game, only one. So whether or not Man City had won all their games, I think we'd still be 3 points or 4 points behind them if they had won all their games. So I think it's just, we're similar to what you did in your 18-19 season. We're setting levels right now. Like, we're playing so well. We're beating teams. Like, we're playing well. We're passing every test that people kind of keep in us. I think it's so disingenuous to say that Man City are the reason, but if their failures are why Arsenal were in the position that they were. And look, even the Arsenal ain't won nothing. I'm just talking about where we're at right now. No one's given us anything. Nobody. And you made a great point. I mean, at the time, how many points in December or January were you above Man City? You were at least, 10 points ahead of them at the time?
And they had a game in hand, but we were 10 points.
On paper, we were 10 points. You can't say that you didn't deserve to win it. You were beating every team 3-4-0 and then shutting up shop. You can't say that, it's Man City just gave you the title. No, you battered everybody, man, and you deserve to be where you are. So, listen, man, I just think it is very unfair that Arsenal are kind of always, the butt of everyone's jokes to say, yeah, we don't deserve this, or it's everyone else's reason why that we're in this position. No one said Lloris to put the ball in the back of his net. No one said that. No one said them to do that. No one said Liverpool to turn up and you to concede in 3 minutes at the Emirates. No one said to do that. Nobody told. No one said to do that. No one said to Liverpool, said to Man City, score 21 goals from Haaland, but when you needed that crunch goal against Everton, not to score another goal, nobody said that. So it's just very unfair for things to go against Arsenal at this moment, the way it is. And as I said to you, look, no one put us in a position where this isn't like a Leicester thing, because everybody knows we have a project. Whereas with Leicester, they had just been almost relegated the season before, and it was just it was a very nonchalant kind of title charge. And then at the end, it was like, yeah, okay, look, they're going to win it. And no one else was really kind of ready. This season, no one had us in the top 4. No one had, but I knew we was going to be a very good team this season. So listen, man, I just, it's very harsh to kind of take the shots at Arsenal the way that people are. But listen, man, it's not just that Drift, because Drift's my brother. He knows that. But some of the stuff that people are saying, it's not just Drifty as well. Some of the people that are things are saying about Arsenal, man, disingenuous is nasty, bro. It's a nasty look, but it is what it is.
Look, I hear it, and I understand why the reason why this is happening is because of your fan base, effectively. Like, because even when you were losing games and you weren't good, you were still one of the loudest in the room. But again, you know what I'm like. I've come up with the early learning center. I've called you lot the learners. I've called you lot a plethora of things. But what I can't do is, if I'm going to give the energy to when you're bad, be silent when you're winning. I have to give you guys credit. And I've said this off stream to you directly. I have to rate what's happened. Like, I went through and looked at Liverpool's best starting 11 when we won the league, and I'm looking at your best 11 now in terms of cost and stuff. Even in cost, they're very comparable. And like, you look at what City have done in terms of spend. And again, I know people will straight away say, Arteta spent £400. I see you, Selassie. And he has, fair enough. But so have Man City, so have Chelsea, so have United. So we as Liverpool fans tend to look at that and go, well, they spent bare money, they should be winning anything. But we forget that how hard we've pushed City, for example. And it's not just the fact of Arteta spent the money. I think he's improved Ramsdale. He's improved Ben White. He's improved Saliba. I'll be honest with you. I'll be very honest with you. I don't rate Gabriel. I think he's getting away because he's around top players.
Yeah.
But he's improved Zinchenko. He's improved Partey. I did not rate Partey up until this season, up until a couple of weeks ago, if I'm going to be honest. He's improved Partey. Odegaard's become a new player under him.
Listen.
Jack has become a new player under him.
Listen.
Saka's grown. Martinelli's grown.
Best numbers all this season.
And Jesus is Jesus, and he brought in Jesus. We have to, banter aside, like, we all love a bit of banter and stuff, but sometimes you just got to sit back and you got to give credit to what you see. And again, you know my thoughts on Arteta. I still don't think Arteta's an amazing manager. I still don't think he's top quality. I think he's having a great season. And if he wins the league, I still will have my reservations, because I'll need to see him maybe do it a bit more often. Not necessarily winning the league, but taking Arsenal to close or doing stuff in Europe. I can't sit here and act like you ain't doing a madness this season, because if this was Liverpool doing this, if this was Chelsea, if this was Man City, everyone would be like, they're showing championship form. They're being brilliant.
Even the fact that you're talking about, we spent 300 and something million plus the 20 million from today. It's close to like 360, 370, whatever it is. Every other team has. Let's not include Chelsea, because we like that's just a world of its own. Man United have spent money. Man City have spent money. They spent £100 million on fullbacks alone. And you have to think, man, Arteta came into a dross where we had Ozil, we had Aubameyang, Lacazette, we had Leno, we had Mustafi, we had Kolasinac, we had Jenkinson. We had all these washman that he didn't inherit. He had to get rid of all these men because they weren't good enough. So when people say he spent £400 million, yes, he had to spend whatever the amount that he's spent so far to get us to a position where we could start to challenge. Otherwise, what everybody would want us to be is in the mud. That's what we continue to be. I don't get what it is. Like, we haven't spent astronomical amounts of money for the type of club that we are. We're really and truly punching above our weight. No matter how much we spend, we're punching above our weight. Liverpool has spent a lot of money. And again, we had to go through the issue where we didn't have players that we could sell, so we had to write up people's contracts. Again, nothing down to anyone else but the previous regime. And now we're in a position where we've got assets. So if we had a player to sell, like a Tierney for 40, 50 million, like a Balogun for 40 million pounds, these things can be happening now, and we can make this money back where it goes to net spend, which Liverpool likes to live off. And it's not a dig, it's more, this is what everyone likes to talk about. So now we're here. So listen, man, like I just think it's not about me getting the violence out. I don't need the violence. We're top of the league. I'm just more saying, like, look, the wonders that Arsenal are doing right now, the wonders that the manager's doing, the way that we're playing, it's nothing to do with us riding on a wave. It's nothing to do with, we are a very, very good team, and we're only growing, we're only getting better. And I just think it's very disingenuous as people to say that we're only top because of Man City's failures. Because I think the teams we're beating, how many needles that we've gone past, how many kind of real sticky situations and teams that we've beaten home and away, and how many times we're going to lose this game because we're a young team or this and that. And listen, man, I think you've only won one Premier League in the last 30 years. It's not easy to win a league, and you've obviously been the runners up in 3 occasions or 2 occasions, and you've been unlucky with that. But people could say that Liverpool are unlucky because you kind of haven't had the real Man City, but you didn't have a Man City where they had Haaland, and you didn't have a Man City where they've brought in all these other players. So I just think sometimes you just got to take every season as different. Like, no 2 seasons are ever the same, So I just think, like we're top of the league. Hopefully we win it. We ain't won nothing yet. We ain't won nothing yet. But I just think where we're at right now, sometimes just give the credit up, man. That's it, bro. Just give the credit up. Moving. No one said that we're world beaters, but right now we're top of the league and we deserve to be there. So it's what it is, man.
As much as it pains me, bro, I hear it and I agree. I do agree, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I hope you guys fall off a cliff, and I hope you guys finish 5th. I do. I'd love it, bro.
We'll get top 4. We're 14 points off top 4, and we've got 2 games in hand over the 5th place team. So we're definitely getting top 4. We ain't got to worry about you. I mean, you can't even beat Brian, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. So I mean, we could talk about your team and the fact that you over celebrated a win against a little Liverpool.
Fact, I did, bro.
Against the Wolves and that. we won't talk too much, man. We won't say too much because I know everyone's going to start saying I'm bullying them, but I asked certain man to step up in your team, and I don't know, people have been falling asleep. So
I'm just going to be real with you, bro. You say it's over celebrating. I say it was justified, bro. I needed that, bro. So I needed that celebration because I don't know where my next one's going to be. Speaking of that, though, me and Lewis have given our prediction for the Chelsea game. What's your thoughts on it?
Bro, I didn't know that you lot were 9th and 10th respectively. I genuinely didn't know that. And the fact that you're down there, I mean, it's a place because you obviously got 2 games in hand, and obviously you can get into 4th. I still think you can get 4th/5th.
Hold on, stay there. Talk to me. What makes you confident that Liverpool can get, other than what we've done in the past?
Because I mean, it was a couple of months ago. You said your manager said book the tickets to go to Istanbul, and a couple of months ago your manager said this is what you're. Again, I'm only saying what your manager said. Your manager said you have the best players, all the best players in all the positions. He names them, and he said you have the best players. So if that's the case, and now you've added quality with Nunes, and you've added quality with Gakpo, and you've got this new young trio of this new Spanish trio that you've got in your midfield with Besic and all these other young players, Harvey Elliott. So if that's the case, then you guys can rise up, man. You got to step up, man. You can't keep saying it's all these other people that you're mentioning. And I mean,
you're enjoying this, isn't it? You're really enjoying
it. My thing with Liverpool and why it gets on my nerves is Liverpool are the only club, and I said this last week. Liverpool are the only club that I've ever heard in my whole 31 years existence who have blamed their number 2 for their failings. I've never heard of any other team to do that. Genuinely. And I think what happens is when over the last 3-4 years, 2 years or whatever, when you win, you've never ever, when you do your player ratings, it's never been Pep. It's always been, oh, what does Klopp get for his rating? Or people say, oh, Klopp's the best, this, that, and the other. But you never mention Pep. But now they're losing. It's all on Pep. So it's like, where do we move? How do we move this needle? Where's the barometer of like success? And how do these things kind of add up? So look, right now, look, you guys you're suffering. You deserve what you get. You got to start figuring out what you want. I mean, I always say it. I think Klopp's doing his best Wenger impression right now, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why your club is copying the old Arsenal. I don't understand why your club can't see that not investing and not giving the manager what he needs from a club like Arsenal, who were a perennial 21 years in the Champions League. Give the man money and he will make success. You know, I can't understand why your manager is copying Wenger, where he's relying on these old foggers and relying on these old fodgers to kind of get him out of the mire. You know, he's not learning. He's just being too stubborn. And again, I mean, I've had too much banter from Liverpool fans to kind of ever be sad for them. So I think he's gambling. Listen, Klopp's gambling, and right now he's losing. He's every month he's re-upping with that little wage that he's getting. And I think someone made a great point the other day. He signed a new contract only a couple of months ago, you know. So, you know, he gets away with absolute murder. So for me, look, man, I just think that he's buying all these players that I don't rate. I don't rate Gakpo. I don't rate Nunes. I don't think that he should have, you know, my thoughts on Salah, who he lauds and thinks he's the best player ever. So listen, man, like, it's apparently I need to keep learning, but I think he needs to learn something new, man. So yeah, I think ultimately it's going to come to a loggerheads, and I think Klopp's going to be caught out to be people call him the best manager ever. People saying that he deserves a statue. People saying that this is the best Liverpool team after winning one Premier League and a fantastic Champions League, by the way, must I add, and winning all the trophies. I mean, you say what you like, but standards, man. Apparently, you're big bag Liverpool. That's what everyone says. So, standards, man.
All right. For a lot of what you said, I actually agree with. What I will disagree with, though, is the Pep Linders stuff. You said you've never in your 31 years heard of a assistant manager get blamed. But I'll throw it back to you. Have you in your 31 years seen an assistant manager release a book midway through the summer and promote it how he has? Have you ever seen a manager go on various YouTube channels and talk about the tactics that he employed or the club employed to beat certain teams? Have you ever heard an assistant manager come out while they're working with Jurgen Klopp and go, Jurgen is the only person I'll be an assistant to. Once the project's finished, then I'll go and see what I'm going to do. Have you ever seen an assistant manager come out and say, Mikel Arteta wanted me? Have you ever heard an assistant manager come out and say, I could have gone to Manchester United? Oh, the guy's talking too much.
Okay, so are you saying that your manager's weak then? Because are you basically saying to me? Because
I'm saying he's showing weakness, yeah.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So your manager's showing a real deficiency here. Because if you're saying to me that he's being led by the blind, that shows that you, as a manager, are not strong enough to be in charge of big, bad Liverpool.
So he's strong enough to be in charge because he's proved it. But here's my thing. So I'll tell you where it is, Lee. You see, if I'll speak as a dad then. So say, for example, Stevie came to me with an idea, was like, Dad, here's a way you can sell this product on Amazon. You can make yourself a lot of money, Dad. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I made a lot of money. I think to myself, right, he's really put me on here. Like he's done a thing for me here. But what's happened now is Stevie comes in whenever he wants from school. He don't tidy his room. He's chatting. He's bringing girls to the house. And I'm turning a blind eye to it. And it's like, I'm not doing what I should be doing as a dad if that's the case. Yeah, you've brought great success. You've helped me with success, but ultimately, I'm your dad, innit? Ultimately, Klopp is Pep Linders' manager. He's a club's manager. And yeah, I do hold Pep responsible for some of what's going on. But ultimately, I've said this, and it's why a lot of people have got at me. This particular season, for me, is on Klopp. if we fall out of the top four. It's on Klopp.
Mhm.
Previously, when we haven't won things, when we struggled, that's on FSG, and it will always be forever FSG out.
Do you know why? Like again and again, what you say with a lot of context and stuff like that, it genuinely makes sense. But there's a famous quote from Charlemagne the God, and he said, I think he was something along the lines of, "Nobody cares about the truth when the lie, because the lie is more entertaining." And what I go back to is, when Arteta was struggling, nobody gave context of why he's struggling. When Oli was struggling, nobody gave context as to why. When Tuchel was struggling, nobody gave context. But now all the Liverpool fans want us to think, oh, well, it's Pep, and that's the context we need. Oh, the players are falling foul and they're not playing well. Or the owners are this, and it's so now everybody wants the context because Liverpool are struggling, and there's all of these reasons or excuses or whatever the word you want to summarize as to why Liverpool are not doing well. But when we had Pep, when we have Arteta struggling when he was finishing 8th, when we had injuries and all of these things, nobody cared about this. It was all fun and games. So now this guy is struggling and he's drowning in Klopp. And now there's all of these different understandings and reasons, which I can give you to you. I'm like, look, you make sense. And when you guys, you free, and that's the beauty about this show and you guys, is that you all come with different ideas and different opinions, but they all make sense. They all make sense, and they are all rational ideas. But no one does that when it's Arsenal or when it's Man United or when it's Chelsea or when it's nobody does that. They always come with the jokes and the banter, and there's no real context. So now, unfortunately,
we're at the bottom of the
hold that.
I agree.
You guys have to hold that. So
this is where I agree with you.
I don't care about any of that other stuff. I don't care about all of these. Pep said this and that. He's a big man, Klopp. You're the guy that's apparently meant to lead this new revolution of Liverpool to be winning titles after titles after titles. You can't just now start bringing all of these excuses. In my opinion, that's just the way I'm going to look at it, with no context, because nobody else wanted to do it when it's everybody else. So that's the way I look at it.
That I completely agree with. And again, this is where me and Liverpool fans may butt heads. You see, when rivals are bantering us and all that, I don't even take it personally, because we sometimes need to look in the mirror. I'm talking about myself mainly. I am one of the worst for bantering other teams. Like, I come on there and I sing the Chelsea song. I've bantered Arsenal to death. Like, Man United, I was there leading the charge when Man United were going through it. Who else? Man City, when they go in the Champions League and all that, who's the first jumping up? It's me. So I'm not going to sit here and ask for context from rivals, because we don't do that as football fans. We're never going to give context. It's banter. We hope for the worst and then we laugh. It's Liverpool fans. It's fellow Liverpool fans where I'm like, we shouldn't really be this divided as a fan base. And I look at Arteta and the money he spent. And again, I don't think he spent crazy money, but he spent what he needed to spend, and he's been backed to do it. You mentioned Wenger. Wenger never got that sort of backing that Arteta got, especially in the later years. And while I do think Klopp is doing the perfect Arsene Wenger impression, one thing where I'm hoping the takeover happens is that I will get the answer to an eternal question. Is it Klopp or is it FSG? In my head, in my heart, I think it's FSG. But Klopp in the last 6-7 months has made me start to question some of those things. So if Klopp is moving like Wenger with backing, then I've got a major issue. But if I see him come out and start, again, I don't, and here's the thing. Liverpool fans don't want us just going out and signing Mbappe's, and no, let me change that. We do want the Mbappe's, but we're realistic with it as well.
Yeah.
But if we are still relying on certain players and not adding depth, then I've got to look at him and be like, that's ridiculous.
As Klopp being the manager, and I know, look, people are going to say that he's not buying certain players, etc., etc. But are you not worried that some of the players that you're signing, not many fans are in agreement that they want, or like the Gakpos of the world, the Nunez's of the world, re-signing Milner, like Gomez, giving him a new extension, Salah, the Salah and Mane thing. Okay, Mane wanted to leave, but you maybe just do a bit more, like maybe keep him for until and let him run his contract out. You've got you run all the juice out of him, just keep him there. Like there are so many things that it seems to be Klopp has made poor decisions. His in-game management has been stinky. To the point of, and I go back to the whole thing with Salah, and this has always been my thing. This season, and people are going to say that I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. But this season,
I'm going to rebut with you straight away. But go.
This season summarizes Mo Salah's career for Liverpool in the whole. And look, I always say he's a fantastic goal scorer. Fantastic. One of the best ever in world football, ever. He is. He's better than Haaland. He's a better finisher for me than Haaland. But where I look at it is, no, he is. He is. If you look at Salah's finishing, look at most of his. He's a better finisher than Haaland. He is. But where I go with Salah is, I think most times he gets 5 out of 10 performance. He will get a tap in or he will get a goal, and it masks his performances. I think of the Fulham game. I think of the Rangers game. I think of so many performances. And this season, he's got not bad GA this season. He got, I think, what people saying he's the top goal scorer in the Champions League. But his performances over the season have been horrible. Horrible. Wolves, horrible. And if you then look at his performances over the last 3-4 years as a whole, he has not played well in a lot of games. He hasn't. I'm sorry, he hasn't. He hasn't. And it's not to say that he's not. What he does well, he's one of the best ever at. And I can't call him crap. I can't call him a rubbish footballer. But I just don't think that he's that guy that I'm hanging my hat on. I'm sorry. He's not, for me. He's never been that guy to kind of say, yeah, like he's the pinnacle of football. He's not. And that's where some Liverpool fans, a lot of Liverpool fans disagree with me. A lot of Liverpool fans thinks I've got an agenda. I don't even talk about him no more. I leave him. My agenda is with Harry Kane now. You know that. So I don't need to care about him. But it is what it is, man. Like I just think that when I look at Salah, I think a lot of his seasons have been like this season, but he gets 30 goals, and I can't argue with him because he's like got the gauntlet. He's got the master keys. He's getting goals upon goals upon goals. And I can't argue with it, but his performances in games, there's been many games he's been stinky. Last season, he's been stinky. He called out Real Madrid, he laid an egg. This is what he does. That is Mo Salah. To me, that is Mo Salah. That is how I think of Mo Salah. And listen, when I go back to my last point, there's a reason why. Maybe I don't agree, maybe I do agree. I would have to really think about it. There's a reason why he still gets compared to Hazard. Rightly or wrongly, there's a reason why he still gets compared. It can't just be me. I can't be the only one that is so stupid. I don't know nothing about football. There must be something wrong.
Lee, I'm not going to lie. I completely disagree with everything you just said there. You knew I was going to anyway.
It is, yeah.
I'll tell you what it is. When it comes to Salah, yeah, I do hear what you're saying. There are some sections of the fan base that he will have a bad game, he'll score a goal, and he'll get a high rating. I don't agree with that. But when you say he's not performed to the highest level over the last few years, that's where I've got to disagree. Like assists, goals, creativity, assists before the assists. The guy does it all. And look, I love Mane. And these two are a double tag team, and they were phenomenal. But it's like Mane's held up here by like the mass. Whereas Salah's still he gets goals, but Mane's here, Mane. And I'm like, you do realize a lot of them seasons, Mane was getting like 1 or 2 assists and Salah was getting bare assists from Mane. So don't get me wrong. There's times like the Burnley game in 1920 when he should have just passed it to Mane, and Mane flipped.
Yeah, he got subbed off as well, I remember.
Yeah, but let's not act like there hasn't been times where Mane couldn't have passed. I remember Everton back in 17-18, clear on goal. 2 Liverpool players to a side of him.
Don't you think Mane was a more well-rounded player, which effectively he could get into that number 9 role, and look how he was playing that number 9 role just before he left. I just think for me, when I think about
again, sorry to cut you, this is why I disagree. I think they're both as well-rounded as each other, but just in different ways. Because I don't think Mane could be as creative as Salah, whereas I don't think Salah could be as boisterous as Mane and bully a fullback, for example. I think Salah's going to outclass a fullback with his movement, with his pace, with his trickery. Mane can do both. He can do you with pace, trickery, or he could just be a bully. But he could also play that number 9 role, and he surprised me in that number 9 role. But I don't like the comparisons between the two, and I know I've brought them up, but I'm doing it to prove a point. Mane's held up here, Salah's held down here, and I'm like, I think people, from his first season, people have such a high standard for Salah that if he drops just below it, it's like, told you, my man's wash. But if you were to take Salah out of Liverpool and still keep Mane, I don't think we would have achieved close to what we've achieved. But there is an argument to say if you kept Salah and didn't have Mane, we may get closer to achieving simply because Salah was more impactful in front of goal and on the pitch. Mane does so much great stuff. Always did, always will, always be a club legend. But Salah has been on a madness. But the reason why Salah, in my opinion, not to make excuses for him, because he's stunk up the place a lot of games this season. He's missed a lot of chances that's gone under the radar. Everyone seems to think it's just Nunes missing chances. Salah as well.
There you go.
Salah's position has changed this season. And I think a lot of people see where he lines up on a piece of paper or on a screen and think, oh, he's playing the same position. You have to look at the nuances. Salah's now being asked to do up Iron Robben. He's not Iron Robben. He's never been that sort of player. In the same way, it'd be like asking Firmino to play left wing. We know Firmino ain't going to be good at left wing. If you ask him to play in the 10 now, you're cooking. Salah's best position is sticking in between the left back and the left-sided centre-back of the opposition team. Right now, Salah's getting ganged up on because we have no overlapping runner from right back. We have no one right centre midfield who can take a player away from him with dribbling or running with creating space. Salah, if you look at it, every game, bro, part of the Brighton game, he won the ball on a counter-attack. Bro, I saw 5 Brighton players around him. Remember, there's 11 men on the pitch, one's in Goldie. So 5 Brighton players on the field were doing their thing. 5 Brighton players hunted Mo Salah down. He looked around and just saw blue and white. There was no one close to him. Brother, unless you're peak Lionel Messi, you're not getting out of that. Hazard's not getting out of that at his peak. Bale ain't. Ronaldo ain't. Unless you're peak Messi, you're not getting out of that. And at the moment, he's surrounded by 3-4 players at a time because the rest of the team ain't doing their business. But at the same time, Salah is still not helping himself through missing back control and stuff like that. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky
one. And I was just saying, I was just finishing out and I was thinking, again, we say all of these reasons, excuses or whatever it is, but when we then go to the whole Henry comparison and people start saying all of this madness about like Henry was washed because he went to the MLS at 31 or 32 years old, this is when you lose me. Like, this is when, people lose all of this stuff. So it is what it is. They got a point, though. They got a point. But now we've got, whether you want to give excuses or not, or give reasons. If I give reasons as to why Henry was left at the Spanish league and went to the MLS, it wasn't because he was washed up. It was because he didn't want to be playing on the left hand side. And listen, I think part of it was just an easier life. But listen,
all right, but if I turned around and said to you, Henry bottled finals, you'd be like, can you not add in context?
Exactly that.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about Salah now. I don't think people are adding context as to why Salah's going through what he's going through. So I see it from your point of view, but again, as a Liverpool fan, where I watch every second and every minute, I'm going to see it slightly different to yourself, who's not going to watch every second, every minute. So I hear it. Right on cue, because we've got to speak about the other big game this weekend.
Yo, I apologies, innit?
Come on now, bro. It's calm, man. You're here now, man.
It's just, like, it's way, isn't it? So it's just.
I don't do if buts and maybes. I do absolutely.
No, I'm saying like, it's just. I didn't hide. It's just that I'm not joking. That's kept telling me 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I was trying to do a reaction for that's his thing. 10 minutes. I'm like, bro, your stadium's half empty. Why? I was like, your stadium's half empty, my guy. Like, I saw those empty seats. Why is the car parked so far back? It's not absolutely ram-packed. Like, come on, man. It's East Manchester, bro. It's scarce over there. It's looking like Trafford with all the stuff at the moment. But it's just like, it is what it is, man. It was ended up being like an hour late. I apologize, man. I'm not joking. I feel embarrassed and a little bit stupid because it's like, if I knew it was going to be at 11 o'clock-ish or whatever it was, then I would have jumped on this from time ago, man, because I really wanted to cuss Tottenham, man.
Bro, you like to cuss Tottenham, bro. Listen, we got a game to talk about real quick. About 5 minutes, bro.
I don't mind, man. But big up.
How do you feel? All right, look, let's address the elephant in the room first and foremost. This was meant to be the game of 2 of the best DMs in world football right now. This is meant to be the game of who's better, Casemiro or Partey. We're not going to see that battle now because Cass got.
Well, we might. It might happen in the cup game.
He went missing though. He didn't want to come to N. He didn't want to come to N5 though. He didn't want to.
You know what's funny? Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't have as much confidence whatsoever going into this game. I can only say my confidence weirdly relies on my fullbacks at the moment to keep their wingers quiet. So, because I like Wan-Bissaka in at the moment, he's locking up anything going forward once again. So if you can lock up Martinelli, then it's like, okay, we might have a chance in this, but it's the midfield. And it's just thinking about if my manager decides to put Bruno on the right, we lost any sort of counter attack we got going forward. And I don't care about that. Let them dominate the midfield, bro. It's time to play counter attack where we're most deadly anyways. So it's looking like a McFred situation at the moment. But you know what's funny? You know what's the funniest thing? Yeah, you know when they always say footballers are humble, yeah. If we somehow get a result at the end, I'm not saying it. I'm just doing if buts or maybes at the moment. It's going to be even more embarrassing.
You sound like Callum a couple of months ago when we beat them as well, and he kept saying,
"No, it will be more embarrassing." But no, Alan, the Spurs fan.
No, Callum.
About me. Callum, yeah, but we're not Liverpool. We're not joint ninth, bro. But we got better performances going. We got bigger fish to fry than joint ninth for Chelsea. Better in the middle of Saturday. Right. But we had that preview, Callum. That was a very good preview. It was
big up to everyone who's at that preview. Guys, if you haven't seen the preview, make sure you head over to Never a Foul. Me, Matisse, Goonie, Mons, Cass.
You know what's funny? Don't get me wrong. I love you, Cal, innit? Yeah, but I needed Matt on this stream personally because we had some fish to fry. You know, I'm not even joking. Everything I said went right, bro. And you know what's funny? Yeah, people want to get onto Vegas, yeah, but it's just like the Anthony Martial situation, right? The pressing was phenomenal. Did you see the way he was winning the ball back in the first half? As soon as he went off, as soon as my man went off, Palace got further up the pitch.
Listen, weird. You know what? No one cares about that bullshit. Are you winning Sunday? Yes or no? That's what we care about, bro. Are you winning us Sunday, bro? I don't care about yesterday.
You know what? No, Lee. I'm not gonna come on here with false confidence and stuff. I'm a giddy type guy, and I'm positive, but I have to respect Arsenal more than any team in the league, innit, at the moment. So it's like, I'm not gonna say you're gonna win. But I do think we can go away with a draw. Only reason being because I do believe in my defense a little bit, and I do believe the counter-attack is like your kryptonite, if anything, getting goals at the moment. Because if Newcastle can nullify you, why can't we? Kind of situation. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean we can't do it either. And it's not like when you came to Old Trafford that you didn't have 3 shots on target, because you did. But it is at the Emirates. It's a different place. It's away. You're the best informed team, best performances. It's evident. You scored the most goals. And you got one of the best defenses. So it's going to be a tough game, man. And you know what? It's the same way when we've said, yeah, you know, the Mac Derby was probably the biggest derby in terms of like the most significant one in years. I think it's the same way with Arsenal, Man United. It feels like 100%. That many years ago, growing up, a good 15 odd years ago. That's how long it's been. And that's how it feels right now on Sunday. A lot is riding on this Sunday, but Tottenham losing it's just eased a lot of pressure for us.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel so disrespected that you just said that, bro. You ain't on our category. You ain't on our level.
I remember you've been doing your thing for 3 years under Arteta, yeah? And you've been on your pedestal for only
can I just say though, yeah? That's actually a lie. The first half of season, obviously we were paying 3 at the back. The next season we paid 3 at the back for the whole season. And that was obviously the season where it was COVID and we had no players in. It was only this real Arteta team has only been since last season, in my opinion. So, but anyway.
But Lee, what I was trying to get at, yeah, you've had your 3 seasons under Arteta. To be fair, I think it's been about 2.5. To be fair, is it 2.5? Am I right? 2.5.
It's 3.5 now. It's 3.5.
So 3.5 years, yeah, and you've been on your pedestal for half a season, half a year, yeah. We've been in this thing for 6 months, and look at the progress. I get it. That's why I say it's the most significant, bro. I realize I'm realistic at times that I can be shameless, bro. I know when to do it. I don't mind. I can hold the smoke, but I know facts that right now, as a Man United fan, what I can see and what I can feel is different for the last decade. You know. It's a merry-go-round in this shit. And that's why I say it is significant, because even though we're not the best at the moment, it is that kind of forming rivalry again, because Arsenal on top of the league at the moment, and Man United are trying to get back to where it's been. It's like recycling. It's recycling the way it's been from all those years ago. That's what I said.
All I'm gonna say.
Last time it'll be me in your position, Lee. I'll be top, and you're the ones that'll be chasing. So that's what I say.
Maybe so, but I think all I need to say is the 2 things I'm gonna say is very simple. Please, God, don't make Liverpool finish below 8th, because everybody keeps saying we finish 8th. Please, God, you know what, Klopp? I'm looking at you. Please do not make Liverpool finish below 8th. Please. I'm sending a little prayer for you. I pray. And my second thing I'm going to say to you, because I'm going to say to you guys, is Man United, please, for something about me says I need to be humbled this weekend, because every single week I get Ali A, I get Bayesian, I get everybody messaging me, oh, Lee, you're gonna lose this week. And I'm like, bro, you've been saying that since week 1. We're in week 19 now. Please stop saying that we're gonna lose. Please, somebody actually get it right, because every week we basically won. Every single week, every single test. So please,
you know what? You ain't been right about everything, Lee, this year.
No, I haven't. But I've been right about a lot. I've been right a lot. You've been right about you. Yeah, I've been right a lot more.
Yeah, one of the stinkers though. I was gonna bring up. I was gonna put on my soundboard as it goes, but I thought I haven't had time today. I'm not joking. I sat down for half a football match, and that's all I've had today. This is what YouTube does. Yeah, and this is what graphics and video edit. It's what video editing does as well. Yeah, no time off, bro. You was wrong about Casemiro. Remember that payday? We was on Kop-Ish, my first or second stream, I think it was. Yeah, I was gonna bring that whole sequence up. I thought, nah, you know what? Your truths, your being right outweighs that. You know, so I said, allow it. I can't be bothered. It is what it is, bro. Just don't come. I know there might be a date night for you next week. There might be a date night, because if you get a draw, it's embarrassing for you lot, not more than for us, of course.
Listen, man.
I'm just saying. Man. Oh yeah, by the way, Sancho back. I don't know, man. You know, hopefully he's a little something. Marcel is fit. He just didn't want to risk him. Fine, cool. It don't matter. But I still wouldn't even start Marcel, man.
Again,
I'm going all out. Get me Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho, bro, just running behind you.
You know how wonderful it is for you to say all these things, but I look at it and I'm like, when I look at my defense with Ben White, Benny Blanco. I look at my keeper right now, where people keep saying that he's not that guy. Look at the performance he put in the other day.
Who's that?
Ramsdale.
Okay, yeah.
Saliba. Listen, all right, now he's putting in Van Dijk-esque performances. He is.
Who's your next game, by the way, Lee?
You.
No, after, I mean.
Oh, Everton away, I think.
Oh, it don't matter then, because you know the yellow card thing still applies for them.
Yeah, it's gone. It's finished. Listen, man. For me, look, I'm ready for that game, bro. I'm pumped. I'm gonna be at AFTV and I'm gonna be there. Like, so.
We got a mad preview tomorrow, Lee.
Yeah.
You know, I got Nuruddin and Saeed as well, and obviously you got Babs and 12th man Dan Potts. So it's gonna be a lively one. I'll be real.
I'm tuning into that myself.
Listen,
I don't know if Lee's done a stream with Saeed yet, yeah, but I can tell he's gonna.
You must have.
Nuruddin.
I'll be honest, I like the guy a lot, but he's fucking annoying, bro. I swear down.
Who's that?
Man United.
He knows how to push buttons, innit?
Saeed knows how to push. Man United, pro Man United, bro. Oh my days, that Saeed. Bro, hard work, man. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be it's gonna be a difficult. But listen, man, I'm excited, bro. If we can win. As I said, I think we'll win the league. I think if we win on Sunday, we'll win the league.
100%.
Predictions then, bro. Lee, let me start with you. The home team. What's the score going to be?
You know what? I've been getting my predictions right recently. I'm going to go with I was going to say 3-0, but I'll say 2. I'll say 2-0. They're not scoring. I just can't see them scoring.
Cass, what are you saying?
I'm going for a shameless 2-1 win.
Oh,
yo, let me drop that.
You don't believe it, man. You don't believe that, bro.
Yeah. I'm doing it. You know what? You know what's funny? Yeah? Every time I doubted Man United's lineups, every time I doubted Man United get into a situation where like you're gonna get bad, bro. Like, you don't think we prevailed in it, and I don't care who it is, because if there's anyone that's got kryptonite versus Arsenal for this season, it is us. And if there's anything that is dangerous that we can play, that is pretty much our most effective play, it is counter-attacking football if you decide to do it, which we ain't done in actually a minute. So, yeah, man. Glory, Man United. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about joint ninth next week too.
I'm telling every single one of you pesky Liverpool fans that keep messaging me, letting me know about being 8th. Anyhow, you guys finish below 8th. Oh my God. Oh,
is it because of all the years of saying 8th to Arsenal, yeah?
Literally, that's all they keep saying. Oh, we finished 8th. So now, if you guys finish below 8th, listen, I'm praying that you don't, because I made a little video about these guys when these guys were chopping their mouth about me. Listen, I'm telling you, I'm going to spend a whole week going through all these videos. I don't mind 2 years worth of videos. I don't care. I'm going to sit there, I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to get every single, not only you lot, I'm going to get everybody in the comments. I'm going to get everybody that has been saying the same nonsense about us finishing 8th. So please do not finish below 8th. Please. Anyway.
I'm going to give you guys my prediction before we head off and do the super chats. Kaz, you're not going to like this. I
don't mind. Some people say 3-0, 4-0 is mine, innit?
I'm going 4-1 Arsenal.
A battering like that. You know what? To be fair, I can't. Look, it's possible. That's the thing. No Casemiro, no party. Something. It might be the case. It can be the case. It will be the case.
I do think that's the
problem. It's a
we
huge
won't
miss,
man. 4-1 though. We won't score 4 goals. That won't.
He should have got that yellow card against City, bro. Should have just got it.
No, we won't be in 4 because we do what Liverpool did, where we blitz teams in the first 15-20 minutes. We then kind of coast off throughout the game, and then we normally just manage it out, or we might get another goal.
That's what I agree. If you can't get your goal in the first half, I think it's kind of long.
No, it's not. It's not because we still what we start to do is we put our reserves, we put our energy in our reserves to the second half.
And you know what I say as well, yeah? If you want to play, I think the worst thing you lot can do is do that inverted fullback thing against us. It don't work. It really don't. It don't work against us, man. It gives us too much space. And I know he's going to try to put Zinchenko to. You don't need Zinchenko to dominate. You can do it anyways. We better playing Kieran Tierney for this game, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know if you've watched the masterclass of Zinchenko, bro.
Because last time you said Zinchenko masterclass when it was all happening, Anthony cooked him in a bare space in his first 45 minutes in his first game, and it's like, bro,
I agree with Cass on that one. I would start Tierney as opposed to Zinchenko for this.
Listen, every time I back Zinchenko, I back Tierney to start. Zinchenko just gets better and better, bro. This guy is like this guy is different, man. And the thing what I think is going to be important is the fact that your fullbacks are very good one-on-one, and I think we're going to need to basically attack you centrally. We're going to have to come centrally for you.
Yeah, this is one time where we can get split. No Casemiro.
I think that's going to be the important thing. So I don't think going around and having like wing backs kind of doing the overlap, it's not going to work because you've got 2 strong fullbacks. So I think
I don't know where he's going to go. I don't know where he's going to go with.
If we go in between your fullbacks and your centre backs, so obviously Wan-Bissaka and Varane, and go in that half space, or go in between. I don't know if it's Luke Shaw and whoever Malacio in that half space. Then I think that's
I know what. Yeah, I agree, man. You're right there, man. You know what this manager's gonna do? Like in my head, he's gonna put Bruno on the right, but then he's gonna start Garnacho and Rashford just for the outlets, and just to play Bruno to help the midfield out. And I think like that's the worst thing you can do right now. But see Wan-Bissaka, like. Yeah, man. I know this sounds mad, yeah. I know it sounds mad, but he could really be the key, man. Because if you can just keep Martinelli like the actual gunman on fight unlocked,
you know what? Yeah, I think we shouldn't talk about this too much because I think Callum's getting upset, bro. Like these are the top of the table talks.
No, I take it in. What I will say though, to back myself up, at the beginning of the season, I said how much I rated Saka, and I even said he's better than Martinelli, and I got looked at sideways. Am I still wrong?
Yo, man's trying to pick up the pieces and get.
I don't know, man.
I don't deserve none of this cooking.
Saka's on a different level to
Martinelli. He is. You see, the thing is, where when Jesus plays, the way he operates and the way he kind of connects with Martinelli raises to a next level, and that's where we're probably missing him. He needs to raise it a little bit more. But you're right, Saka is whenever I think of a golden boy, I think of your Gavis and I think of Saka now. That's where I put this guy. Like he's just.
There's a reason I've been asking for Saka at Liverpool for the last 2.5 years.
He's absolutely unreal, man.
Could have got it.
We should have pushed for it. We should have pushed hard. That's Liverpool. Right, let's have these super before I let you guys go. Jade Activist said, "Did you see Alvarez give the guy his shorts?" No, I've not caught any of the game. Literally, we film. What time did we film, Cass? We filmed at 6. Then I have to go and pick up the kids, bring the kids home, and then jump on this. So I ain't seen all I've literally seen is the scoreline. Big up to Eagle Eye Football, guys. Make sure you go and check out their channel.
Man like Richie, fam.
Big up, man like Rich indeed. Big up, Rich. Bajan Bar says, Lee, are you man getting 90+ points this season?
Are you?
Oh, okay.
Are you? You getting 9? You getting 9 points?
Do you think you'll have to get 90 plus points to win the league this season? Because that's what Man City have set over the last few years. Do you think
I can see it happening, us getting 9, but I don't think we're going to need 90 points. No. I don't think we are.
Wait. Odegaard is not the same type of player as Ozil, and he's more one-footed, bro. There's no more one-footed than Ozil, bro. Are you mad?
So Harty said, yeah, Odegaard is not even the same type of player as Ozil. He's more one-footed. Ozil pre-knee injury at Royal Bremen was different level from Arsenal fan.
No, he was. And in his first 2 seasons, Ozil was absolutely naughty. But yeah, I don't
remember his first game against Southampton, fam. Still remember that.
No, Sunderland.
Sorry, Sunderland. He's playing in a away kit, I think, as well.
Yeah, the yellow one.
He subbed Welbeck, didn't he?
No, Giroud.
Giroud. Oh, my bad. Do you know what? Ozil, when he was at his peak, was something phenomenal. But
yeah,
I think Arsenal fans brought into the Kool-Aid a lot when he sort of fell off the boil. And I think he was the last ray of hope you guys had as a big player.
Mm-hmm.
Odegaard's special, man. I can't lie. The boy is special.
Well, we had Sanchez as well, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But Odegaard's the real deal, man. And the fact that he was playing as a 10 and now he's transitioned into an 8, I have to rate it, man.
And he's come back from being, obviously, Real Madrid, 15, 16. He went to Real Sociedad on loan. He had to drop his ego, and he's beat all case allegations. When do we see young wonder kids at 14, 15-year-olds come to be a top player? You know, you can have a player that's starting to warm at 19, 20, like your Bellinghams. But, I mean, well, he started at a young age. But what I'm trying to say is you don't normally get... It'll be interesting to see what Endrick does, for example. Does he go and follow and, break into that and be this top global star? Not many young FM wonder kids, not every FIFA younger wonder kids, whatever, come to be the player he is. So, yeah, look, it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
I hear it. People, we're going to finish up there. Lee, blessings, bro. Kaz, I know you feel embarrassed, but don't feel embarrassed because you still turned up and we appreciate your input, my bro. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you check out Lee's channel. Also, check out AFTV. He's going to be on there on the game. You guys playing Sunday, right? Sunday. Guys, make sure you check out Never a Foul as well. As I said, me and Cass, Monts and Goonie and Matisse did a match preview for the Chelsea game, so make sure you check it out. We'll be back live twice tomorrow, one for the preview for the Chelsea game and one for our normal calling show. And then Saturday we'll be live for the game as well. Guys, make sure you show these boys the support that they show us. Go and subscribe to their channels, go and like their videos, switch on the notification bells. We'll be back tomorrow, people. Thank you all for joining. Make sure you smash the like button on the way out. Until we see you next time, stay safe, stay blessed. This is Kop-Ish and we're out, people. Take care.